While artist Stephen McGann newly tweeted on his disappointment in human beings who pressurized other to sip alcoholic, he acquired an effusion of supporting on public print. As Yuletide gears up once again, a fast season query. I select not to sip alcoholic, but down there are a lot of human beings I aware out down there who can sip via drug addiction. The is a difficult time of year for them. And, if who courteously refuses an alcohol sip, don't hold request X lot human beings talk to me on the agonies they go via for Yuletide. If you don't sip, for public health or drug addiction reasons, later think how difficult it is to be pressured in potable, says the obstetrician artist. McGann, who is 55, gave up alcoholic 18 years ago following learning for a mercy journey. I grew up in the polar in how ale civilization, wherever you would sit in the pub and get a bubble full. Now I don't get hangovers and I delight creature the nominated motorist. A boyfriend very got injury up by me not potable. Am not certainly same's always got above it. Now I get murderous minded and angered if human beings try to shove a sip on me. Binge is so deep entrenched in our civilization. Newly I was at a do wherever a waitress put a window of vine in my brush up I'd though told hi. Think if I was a convalescent alcohol? Human beings would never try to get a vegan to eat flesh. Writer Matt Haig, 43, who has spelled on his struggles in depressive in his best-selling volume, Reasons to Remain Live, describes oneself as a portion-time teetotaler. I loving potable, but if I sip too lot later it can flop concern and later depressive, so I include large patches of not potable. Occasionally it's fair facilitating not to go of, as I get too seduced. Though if other don't press me, you sense a quiet blood pressure. It's a bit love creature a vegetarian, it gets some human beings' backs up since they sense those guilty or convicted. Haig notes UK communities' possession in potable. As quickly as we get how off selector we sip. Go to Gatwick and thou'll see human beings potable at 8 o'clock. It's change, youthful human beings are potable less than, but I'll never be how Mediterranean man who can include one window of vine. His tips for creature a non-drinker involve order a maiden murderous Mary, it feels hedonic, departure to a small restaurant quite rather than a bar or public house, making workout to substitute how area wherever you allow off vapor, and proverb to such who try to impose drinks on thou, I don't sip. Human beings believe down there must be a cause and don't issue it. It's on not sense those guilty, and not making things out of commitment. The anxiety in creature a man is how we virtually can't believe of everywhere to encounter how isn't a public house. Catherine Gray, writer of The Sudden Joy of Creature Sensible magazine, recalls how while she utilized to sip she was one of the meanest sip pushers. If someone wasn't potable I didn't wish them down there. But it was to do in my issues quite rather than them. It's the heaviest drinkers who urge entertainment. They wish and Confederate. Gray, 38, gave up alcoholic 5 years back. I couldn't mild. But later I barely aware nobody who can mild, it's difficult. Now while human beings try to promote her to sip she makes a jest of it. No wants to listen you go on the public health risks. I speak them I'm a friable canon law. I do a jest out of it. Never be apologetic, human beings will jump on how. Yet in spite the reality how alcoholic is deep embedded in our public lives, the civilization is change. Latter figures of a research by the College of London showed how nearly a tertiary of youthful human beings don't sip at all. Though so, youthful human beings, especially such in psychological public health issues, yet fight in alcoholic. Jennifer Griffin, therapist and general officer of Rotate to Me, an on the internet charity psychological public health website for youthful human beings, says lot of such they assist discover public occasions how rotate about potable hard. Alcoholic is related to concern and depressive. Yet socializing is how youthful human beings evolve a connect to their peers. If they select not to communicate since they will be vulnerable to alcoholic, later they might estrange themselves and afflict of solitude. This purchase a circle framework is as well in question. It's beautiful and lavish, but it's hard to oppose. Griffin suggests work out a policy in preliminary, and prioritizing yours own as necessary. As knowledge of the public health risks increase, not potable, or cut behind on potable, is proper more overall. Everyone is in treaty. If who says no to a sip, dong tea ask 2 times.